What's up, Atlanta? Thank you so much for joining our show today. This podcast show is designed for you, and it will only talk about marriage, whether you're married a little bit or whether you've been together for 30 years. Hi, I'm Al, and Mrs. D, who's your co-host. We're going to present to you topics of marriage because we think it's important. So I want to talk about the fact that you must change, right? So we talked about needs versus commitments and how the need exposes a lack of commitment, and then how the way you go about your need, if you do it a different way, you can get your spouse to commit to take action, right? And to commit to do things. So we talked about that. So the second thing though is change. So in order to be successful, you must change, because we just talked about it. The way you're doing it now, you're fighting or you're running. That doesn't work. So by definition, you already know you have to change, right? So what do I mean by that exactly? So consider this. The risk of divorce, as much as you think your marriage is happy and you're getting along and everything is going kind of well, even though you got problems, you got friction, right? The risk of divorce is almost double. 97% higher, which is close to 100%, which is double, when the mother of children, when the mother went out to work, but her husband made a minimal contribution to the housework or childcare. I said that before, right? Remember I said, part of the category is household roles and financial roles, and then the third category was parental roles. The reason I say that some of our episodes need to fall into these categories is because if you don't have agreements and you don't have a comfort level with those things, the wife as a mother in particular, your risk of divorce doubles. And so guys, if you don't want to wind up in divorce court by surprise, or you should never be surprised, because a woman likes to tell you how she feels, right? And so you will always know what's coming if you think you were surprised because you were dumb enough not to pay attention, right? So if you don't want to get caught up in that, then you have to do some of the housework. You have to pick up responsibilities for the childcare. You have to. Otherwise, you'll wind up divorced, period. And if you're married to an African-American woman between 50 and 59, your game's over, buddy. Because once they hit that time, something about a woman, when women turn, guys, I'm talking to you guys, you should already know this, but if you're younger than 40, you might not know this, that when a woman turns 40, there's a switch goes off in her. It's biologically programmed in her. There's like a switch that goes off. That all of a sudden, she don't give a crap what somebody else thinks. All of a sudden, she's not going to live her life based on somebody else. And by the way, that applies to you too, right? So if she's under 40, you might get away with some stuff. But the minute she turns 40, she ain't tolerating that crap anymore. If she uses words like that and she tells you things like that, you are heading for a divorce court. And so if you don't want that, dude, you have to start doing some housework. And do like my wife and I did. Sit and talk about everything that needs to be done. Start the conversation by saying what you hate to do. Now, guys, you can't hate doing everything. Number one, that's a lie. And number two, you ain't contributing and you ain't supporting her, right? Because we know when you clean your car, it's spotless. The carpet's spotless. The glass is spotless. So obviously you know how to clean. And when you dated her and you invited her to come to your apartment for that first time, your house was always clean. Stop lying, right? You got to pick up some of the housework. You got to go to some of the kids' recital. I don't care if you don't like the recital. You don't like going to the stupid meetings you have at work. But do you not go to those meetings? Of course you don't, because your boss would fire you. And I'm telling you right now, fellas, if you don't start going to those kids' recitals, the mother will fire you. It's called divorce. And you need to get over that. Because if you don't want to wind up there, let me give you a song, right? If you don't believe in any other thing than this, the song goes, it's cheaper to keep her, right? So there's a reason why you need to step up and do what you was doing when you was dating. to do what you were doing last Saturday when you was cleaning your car and making it all spotless, what you was doing last Thursday night, when you was out in the shop building God knows what, and when you finish, you clean it up nice and clean, right? Come on, fellas, step up. You owe it to her because she lives by a feeling of support. She lives by feeling of commitment, right? That's what she can't live without those things. And you got to step up if you don't want to wind up in divorce court.